only wants you to make good beer and have fun hanging out with your friends. Here's Dono. Today on the program, we are brewing a German pilsner, a smash beer. It's going to be 10 pounds of Pils malt. And I have this hop here called Triumph. Brewing up this too. And it's said to be sort of a Germany heritage. We can maybe get more into that in the tasting notes. And so the spoiler is that it looks like the yeast starter is going to be fine, but what happened last night when I went to get my jar out of the refrigerator, it was somewhat frozen. It was not frozen solid, but definitely not just a light slush. And again, it was in my fridge. And I had been thinking that, man, are these tap beers drinking colder lately? And so I haven't had this happen before in the winter when it gets cold downstairs, but I wonder if maybe the refrigerator just sort of keeps operating at the same level, and then it's colder, and everything is colder in the fridge, including cold enough to freeze. So I was looking around at some information on the internet. I found this about previously frozen liquid yeast on Brewlosophy. These guys actually put a packet in the freezer and totally froze it, and then they had one that they did not freeze, and it worked out for them. So I thought, all right, I'll just go ahead and make a starter and see what happens, and it seems to be working out for me so far. So the two low-risk variables here are this Triumph hop, which I've not used, and then the other thing is, what I'm going to do as a bit of an experiment is I'm going to do a lager, but I'm going to make it cold fermented. I just have done 3 warm fermented lagers under pressure. The first one of those finally is gone. The second one is on tap and is getting quite nice. I have yet to do the tasting notes on that one. The third one is going to go on tap today since the first one emptied. So it's not going to be a side-by-side. It's not going to be a real true comparison experiment, but because I've just done 3 of those, and possibly at least one of those will be on tap, but I thought, let me do a cold ferment one, because what I've been reading is people definitely say there is a difference. It is not like there is no difference. There may be such a small difference that it's hardly detectable to a common person just drinking away, but scientifically there is a difference, and some people still do prefer the cold fermentation. So that's kind of what we're looking at today. But in the meantime, I have all the wort is under these blankets in this brew kettle. I have to get it out to the garage. I think it's like, you can see we got frozen windows, frozen winter hellscape out here, and I have to get it out to that garage and start the boil. Here we are in late December. We've gotten some snow. There's my broom stuck in my snow pile where I shovel to out this area, and also where I get the snow from for my ice water bath. But yeah, you can see it's piled up on these chairs, piled up on that chair. We're at the end of the boil. I'm gonna kind of improvise and what we're going to do is a hop stand of sorts. We're going to, I did a 1/2 ounce at bittering of 9.7 alpha acid. I figured that's sufficient, and I'll get a little more bitterness now. So what we're going to do now is the remaining 1/2 ounce right now, post boil. And I'll let this go, I don't know, 15 minutes or so, and then it will cool down, because it's 28 in here, it just said, and it's colder than that outside, but then it will cool down some, and then I'll go ahead and do the other ounce with the thought of getting more flavor and aroma from that addition, so we can kind of try to see to get an idea what this Triumph hop is all about, and we can talk more about that in the tasting notes. Winding things down here on brew day. That's my 5-gallon tick, so I'm right at that, which I always like. I don't know about you. Do you guys care about volumes? Is it nice to get 5 gallons or more? I'll get a exact reading, but it looks like it was going to be in the upper 1040s, and as I showed just a moment ago, I believe this should do it. It smells okay, and it looked okay. That was interesting that my refrigerator froze. The yeast, washed yeast jar. What was also interesting, I'll maybe do a quick shot of it, is I have a bunch of pickled beans in there, and they were not froze. The yeast thing was on this top level, but these are about the same level, and these, so I wondered if the vinegar maybe makes a lower freezing temperature. Anyway, I am going to aerate with pure O2, and I'm going to do a cold fermentation. Actually, where this keg is right now, that was about 50. So this yeast temperature range is in the 40s to like mid 50s, so I figure I'll start it there. Otherwise, I can move it around and get a little bit warmer temps in just different parts of the basement. So this is fun and a little bit of a pleasant surprise. I took a glance at this and saw it was bubbling already, and it's a surprise because that yeast was kind of frozen, and the starter did look okay, but I mean, I was just surprised that it would be like this bubbly. It's starting to get a kreuzen. And the other surprise is it's quite chilly. I mean, it's 54, 56 degrees. So everything is going quite well, actually. I was hoping it would be fermenting by the morning, but it's only about 5 to 6 hours. That's about 6 hours after pitching the yeast, and it has already started. All right, so we have the pills, and once again I forgot to do my beauty shot. It did get very clear. Joel was pointing out it maybe isn't quite as clear yet as this fast beer, but the fast beer is quite a bit older, so you know, the pills got nice and clear. It was started at 1049. It got down to 1.007. It was cold fermented, and it fermented around 50, 52, the low 50s. I brought it up at some point for a diacetyl rest. We didn't talk about it until right now, but like I don't get any diacetyl, so I don't think, you know, diacetyl? Diacetyl?
I've heard both.
Tomato, tomato? I usually say diacetyl, but now I just was saying diacetyl. At any rate, So that went well. It got good attenuation even with the cold ferment. So the let me think. I would have made a starter from a washed yeast amount. This would have been the second to last beer, or the first beer that I had. Anyway, that all went well. We've been talking and sampling. So the story here is, and this is more of a question for me, but do I think that doing the cold ferment gives me any advantage in flavor or end result over this warm ferment under pressure, which I've done 3 of those? The quick answer is not tremendously different. The Helles was the first one, and I kind of goofed that up. There's a video on that. But then the fast beer and the cold IPA have been great, and this is the fast beer, so we're sort of drinking it a little bit just to see. The fast beer is quite yummy, I think. I mean,
it's great. I mean, like you had said, it's had a little bit more time to just like mature in the keg, and like I think especially with that, it's like, I don't know, it's drinking really, really nice right now, and I certainly am not identifying any like off fermentation flavors whatsoever.
Because of it being warm.
Yeah, no, it's great. I definitely would not have second guessed the fermentation temperature on this. Yeah,
there's been times when I've had it when I question if I do get anything, but then I remember, well, it does have Munich and Vienna, which are gonna give you different flavors, and drinking it next to the 100% Pils, you can tell like it has a layer of richness and varied malt quality than just, you know, the straight Pils. But I don't really get any off flavors.
And how long was your fermentation overall on the Pilsner, like brew day to kegging?
Well, I can tell you it was made on December 27th. And then I kegged on January 14th, so that's only 2 weeks and 4 days. But that's even a little longer than I do it sometimes. Because I felt like 2.5 weeks was enough. I mean, I let it sit at room temp, you know, for a good like 4 to 5 days. So like it's done fermenting. Any diacetyl that would have been produced is scrubbed out, and then it just sits there and like it's done. And then it went downstairs for like in my cold room for probably like at least a week plus. So you know, by the time I got around to putting it in the keg, I'm like, yeah, I could let it sit in the primary fermenter for like longer. But I just didn't think it was necessary, and I don't think it is necessary.
No.
So the other question is, what about the Triumph hops? So we were talking about those. I don't know if I went over this on the brew day, but real quick, the parentage is said to be East Kent Goldings, Brewer's Gold, Nugget, and Haller Tau Mittelfra. But then whatever other hops were involved in creating this breed will give you aromas of bright orange, lime, peach, possibly pink bazooka gum. Look for that if you can find it in the beer. Or like, you know, like a cup of Dole peaches. I already said peach. So the point is, it has these traditional parents, but then I don't know if a wild, you know, Amarillo, like I don't know who like snuck in and how they got this breed made, but you know, we were talking and like I do think I was saying something like strawberry or some kind of ripe berry. You know, maybe it's this peach that I'm searching for, but there's a little bit, I don't really get a lot of aroma. I think do ½ ounce at flame out, let it sit for a while, then did another ounce of a hop stand, and I was hoping that would give it enough of that treatment to get a little aroma, but I don't know that it's kind of like overly hop aromatic.
I mean, now that it's had time to warm up in the glass, I am getting a little bit more aroma, especially with like swirling it and stuff. But I mean, when we were first drinking it, you know, I think I was telling you that like I would not have, again, wouldn't have second guessed like the hop choice on the Pilsner, or would have guessed that it was anything other than a typical Pilsner hop.
Okay.
You know, the parentage on it is for the most part nothing that's like screaming like super wild new flavors, but like now that it's warming up,
I guess if you look for it, you can get maybe like lime.
Yeah, I still am getting.
Would you say you get anything else if it's warmed?
I think like the orange and like kind of the peach stone fruit kind of thing is mostly what I get on it.
I mean, it was a hop that was given to me in like a bag of hops that were 2 ounces of this, 2 ounces of that. You know, so like I've been working through some of those hops. Adina, I think I might have used. There was another one. Blanking on it right now, but I made a beer with one of them. But yeah, I think it's I'm not gonna say you need to run out and grab that hop, but I mean it's fine. It's kind of interesting because it's sort of like in between a lot of the hops that you would use, like Azacca, Amarillo, Mosaic, Citra. You know, these types of ones versus the more traditional ones. It is kind of like a little bit of in between.
Yeah, for sure.
Of those two worlds.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know. It's like another color of paint to paint with. You know, it's all sorts of different hops. I think this one is well suited. It's
fine. Yeah, it's like makes it a nice beer, and you know, I'm happy with the cold ferment as far as being able to make a clean beer and not have it have diacetyl and have it get attenuated. 1.007 is like pretty low for that. Sure. So that worked, and actually I'm currently making another Pilsner type beer that is also cold fermented, and that's going to be with a different yeast, but that'll be the next experiment to try that yeast. And actually I should hopefully have this cold fermented beer still on tap when that one's on tap, so maybe we can do it side by side with those. But at any rate, I guess that'll about do it for this. I mean, the warm fermented pressurized has been doing me well, but then this cold fermented worked too. So
for sure.
Yeah, Joel just dropped off a bunch of hops from his work, and Chip and I are gonna divide those up. And so there'll be a video on that at some point, and we'll figure out what he gave me, and we'll figure out what they're supposed to give us, and we'll see what they do, but I think that'll do it for now.
Cool.
So yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching. Catch you later.